Really, Madden? Really? Can't even believe we have to have this conversation. Every mother effing year. Let me just clarify before I get into this. It's not just the Titans that get disrespected yearly in the rating system. There's other teams too. The Chiefs this year, they won the freaking Super Bowl. And they're the 8th highest team. 8th highest team. They're saying that 7 other teams should be ranked higher than the Kansas City Chiefs. But that's besides the effing point. A team that went to the conference championship game is not even in the top 10. They manhandled the Ravens. And guess what? The Ravens are in the top 10. Ain't that a shocker? The Patriots, thank God, are not in the top 10. I would have an aneurysm if they were. I wouldn't be surprised, though, after about 2 weeks if they are in the effing top 10. Knowing Madden's logic, I'd be like, oh yeah, they belong in the top 10. Let's just recap the overalls here. EA has released the overalls for Madden 21. And for you guys, I know this is a different style video. I will get back to the film side. I've actually done some film and TV rankings and trailer reactions. Those will get posted down the road. But this one was just something I couldn't ignore. And I'm dressed out in Titans gear to bring awareness to the situation. Screw Fix Madden franchise. It's a great thing. I want Madden franchise fixed just as much as the next person who plays Madden does. I want new features just like every person on planet Earth wants new features. But at the end of the day, I don't care about... At least rate your players the right way. You're telling me now you're starting to get actual players to be the former players to be the ratings adjusters, and you still come up with crappy ratings? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It is a full-on blatant embarrassment, guys, and I'm going to try to find it here for you guys. I'm going to pull it up. I believe this is the Titans, right? It is not. But they have released all the... Let's look at the players in the 99 overall club just to start out. Aaron Donald, he deserves a 99. He's basically the only thing that's still pretty good left on that Rams team besides Jalen Ramsey. That's about it. Those two players are good, and as long as you can have a fast user in the middle, you've got a good defense right there in LA. So not bad for Aaron Donald, of course. And Christian McCaffrey, they love to put him up on a pedestal. And I'm not saying Christian McCaffrey doesn't deserve a 90 plus, but I think he deserves more like a 95, 96, which is what King Henry over here deserves, is a 95, 96. I would even go as far as say 97. He led the league in rushing and in rushing touchdowns. He was the biggest reason why we got to the conference championship game, and nobody could stop him. The Ravens couldn't stop him. He turned a Hall of Famer, Earl Thomas, into a O-line, to an offensive tackle. That's what he turned him into. He literally got stiff-armed so hard by Derrick Henry, he started looking upfield to his own players. We literally made him into an offensive lineman on that play. And that's not enough to go, holy shit, this dude deserves one of the highest overalls we've ever given to anybody. But McCaffrey does. Newsflash, buddy. McCaffrey couldn't power through 2-3 people like Henry can. Okay? But I mean, McCaffrey being a high overall is fine by me, but Henry needs to be higher. But we'll get to Derrick Henry in a second. And of course, Patrick Mahomes, obviously he deserves a 99. He lights the league up. Stephon Gilmore, now I do think he's a bit high. I think he needs to be more like a 97, 96 rating, but I do agree with him being the highest corner in the game. Maybe not a 99, but I do agree with him being the highest ranked corner. And that's your 99 club. So you get, and Michael Thomas. So you get 5 players. Michael Thomas does deserve the 99. I will give them credit for that. He works so well with Drew Brees. Now, if Michael Thomas was on a different team other than the Saints, I would want Julio Jones to have that 99. But I'll let the Saints have Michael Thomas as a 99. And I'm going to go to the AFC South because that is my team. And we'll go to the Titans and just watch just how embarrassing they love to make it here. Let's cover the ratings here. Derrick Henry, a 93. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. We saw Derrick Henry 2 seasons ago, and he started to really turn it up and really start to become the franchise back that I believed he could be, that a lot of people believed he could be, and others didn't believe he could be. Newsflash, this is a throwback jersey. I bought this after his rookie year because I saw potential in him, and on top of the fact that I liked the way he carried himself. I liked his play style, but I saw the ability for him to be one of the top 5, top 3 running backs in the league after his rookie year, and nobody said that. There were a few people. There was a small group that kept growing and growing as he got to play more and more, saying, just give him more carries, give him more carries. He'll develop. And did he develop? You bet he developed. He turned into something amazing. So, yeah, that was the process there, was getting Derrick Henry those carries, and now he's one of the top backs in the league. And I think he's the best back in the league. There's not a running back I would take over Derrick Henry right now. And the fact that Madden goes, no, we're not going to do that, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. But as long as he is second place. He is second place behind McCaffrey, but I don't think McCaffrey freaking earns 6 points above him. I technically think Henry's better, but I do understand that some people think McCaffrey's better. And they're both so good that as long as they're both 1 and 2, regardless of where you put them, I'm okay. But I don't think either one is 6 points higher than the other one. I think Henry should be a 96, 97, and then McCaffrey should be like 1 point behind him. Or vice versa. McCaffrey be a 96, 97, and Henry be a point behind him. And if that's the case, Henry needs to be at least a 96, so McCaffrey needs to at least be a 97, 98, but not necessarily maybe a 99. Kevin Byard, 91. Now that is a bit low, but not too low. A 90 plus is still good, but it needs to be a bit higher, maybe 92, 93. Not too much to complain there. Then you have not a massive drop-off, but a decent drop-off. Brett Kernan, an 84. The dude is the best punter in the league by a mile. By a long mile. There's not anybody that competes with him for the best punter spot in the league, and you're telling me, an 84 is what we get. It's ridiculous. Now, Roger Saffold in 84, that I agree with. They actually got him good. I do agree with that. Taylor Lewan in an 84, I disagree with that. Taylor Lewan needs to at least be an 87. He's one of the best tackles in the league. I don't understand why they gave him the respect 2-3 games ago, but won't give him it now. I don't get it. Adoree Jackson in an 83, that's higher than I thought he would get. I thought Adoree would clock out at around an 80, 81. So I'm okay with him getting an 83. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Harold Landry at an 82. Harold Landry deserves an 84, 85. He really turned it up towards the end of the year and really showed that he is a great piece to an edge rush. So 82 is too low for him, but it's not dramatically low. It's not like someone I could see having a 90 overall. And here comes into the disrespect I'm talking about right here. Oh, and it gets worse. A.J. Brown in an 81. He was either the only or one of 2 rookies wide receivers from last year's class. And it was a decent receiver class. Not as stacked as this year's receiving class, but it was a good receiving class. And we picked up A.J. Brown in the second round at that. He had over 1,000 receiving yards. He was almost a highlight reel receiver, which I haven't seen on the Titans in a long time. He was... His catch percentage was great. You threw to him, he was going to catch that ball. On top of that, his ball carrier vision was one of the best of a receiver that the Titans have had in a long time too. Not only could he catch the ball efficiently, he got the ball and he went off with it. And the fact that is not important, or that only merits an 81 to you, are you kidding me? And notice how I haven't said someone else's name yet? Three other players' names? They're coming. Jonathan Joseph at an 81. I disagree with Jonathan Joseph. He should be an 82, 83, maybe even an 84. He's a decent corner. He's always a good corner. I'd say he's a top 20 corner. Maybe top 15 at best. and not an elite corner. Elite is where I would say top 10, top 5. But a decent corner. He fills in a spot that we needed while we have Christian Fulton. And if you think, and let's just get into the rookie ratings for the Titans here in a second. Ben Jones, 80. That's fair. He kind of flies under the radar now. I would like to see Ben Jones a bit higher because he's efficient at what he does, but I can understand him being an 80. Ryan Tannehill. He had the 4th highest QBR of all time. 4th highest QBR in the history of the league last season. Number 1 in the league last season. More yards since Mahomes when he stepped in. Since he stepped in and played in the tenure he played last season, he had more yards than Mahomes and more touchdowns than Brady. You can look it up. It's a preferred stat line. Now, I know I'm right about the touchdowns than Brady, but if it's not more yards than Mahomes, it's more yards than somebody. It's either more yards than Mahomes or more yards than Breeze or more yards than Lamar Jackson. I believe it's more yards than Patrick Mahomes. Because when I looked at the stat line, I went, holy shit. And you're only going to give the dude an 80 overall? Now, granted, they gave him a decent throw power at 88 for Ryan Tannehill. They gave him good throw accuracies. They gave him decent athletic abilities. His injury rating is way too low, so I think that's what nerfed him down to an 80. His injury rating is like an 86, I think. Now, his toughness rating being 92, that I agree with. His jumping is like an 87, 88. I agree with that. I mean, he had No, it's an 85, actually, his jumping. I definitely agree with that. He had that crazy hurdle into the end zone that flipped him up in the air. That was amazing to watch, but also very frightening because this was after we kind of knew that he was that spark to the offense we needed. And so we've had him in for 2 or 3 games at that point, and we were kind of trailing, and he was trying to come and will us back. And I believe we won that game. I'm trying to remember who we were playing. And then he flipped up in the air and flipped into the end zone. And while he was in the air, I was afraid he was going to come down on something and injure himself. And we had to throw Marcus back in. And, man, I appreciate Marcus for all that he did, but it just didn't work out at the end, you know. He tried his best, you know. He played with a lot of heart. And he was a good guy. And I wish him all the best. But at the end, it just didn't work out. And for Tannehill, it did. And he got paid this, so... 79 for Corey Davis. That I agree with. Corey Davis has been kind of blah. He's made a few big plays here and there, though. I mean, the game-winning catch in overtime versus Philly will always be a great moment, I think. I think that's one of the... And it's, especially because it wasn't like he was wide open and Mariota just tossed it to him. Davis had to kind of go up for that, just like Mariota had to put it up for Davis to get. So CD did come down with it, and it was a pretty good catch. So he's had some great catches, and I believe it was Corey Davis that made the catch at the Patriots game where we got kind of lit up. I think it was 45 or 35 to 14, something like that, when we went to a wild card game. Or no. We came back from behind. We were down 21 to 3, I think. We came back and won 22-21 against the Chiefs in the wild card, and then we went to play this was with Mike Mularkey as head coach. Yeah. But yeah, Corey Davis being a 79 makes sense. Daquan Jones being a 79, that also makes sense. He's kind of an under the radar. He's efficient for us, but not necessarily a human highlight reel. Now let's get into the disrespect. Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans. You notice how I haven't said their names yet? That's because they're both 79. 79. Both of them took a step up from being wussy boys to men among men last year. Both became top 10 interior linebackers in this league, I would think. You could argue Rashaan Evans is the better one, and you could argue that Jayon Brown's right outside the top 10, or maybe around 12th, 13th best interior linebacker, and I would still agree with you. But I'm telling you right now, it is ridiculous what they're doing right now. Absolutely ridiculous. A 79 overall for Jayon Brown. The dude deserves at least an 83, 84. At minimum. I would give him an 84, 85. I would give him somewhere in there. Rashaan Evans, 84, 85, maybe an 86. The dude crushed it. He had a goal line stand. He was a massive part of that goal line stand against the Chargers. He's made a lot of in the red zone turnovers possible, Rashaan Evans has. He's made a lot of clutch plays on defense, and you're telling me he's only worthy of a 79? What more does he have to do? stick his thumb up his butt, twirl it around, and call it a chocolate whip and feed it to you? I mean, what else has he got to do to earn a better rating to you? And if you thought that was bad, there's more. Kenny Vaccaro, 78. Kenny Vaccaro is one of the core pieces of our defense. And you're saying he's a 78? At least an 82, guys. Come on. If you're going to lowball him here, at least an 82. At least an 82, please. If you're going to lowball him here, just do that. That's all I'm asking for. If you're going to lowball him extremely, at least make it reasonable and logical. Adam Humphrey, 77. Now, I actually agree with Hump being a 77. Did he come in and make a few plays? Yeah, but he didn't really do much for us. So, I agree with him being higher than a 75 because when he did make a few plays, so I do agree with the 76, 77 rating. But I also agree, could he be a bit higher? Maybe 79 tops, but... So I'm actually not that mad with Adam Humphries rating. Malcolm Butler at a 77. Now that I strongly disagree with. Now Malcolm Butler did have some problems last year. He really did. He did have some problems. But towards the end of the season, again, we all kind of kicked it into high gear, and I believe he deserves an 80, 81. I do. Jonnu Smith, a 75. A 75? He seriously had to play an entire season last year because Delaney was injured on that ankle. And now he's no longer a Titan. Delaney was good last year. Was he a perennial player on that offense? Was he someone that people looked at as the face of the franchise? Of course not. You already had Derrick Henry prior to last season, already having a half season where he was lighting the league up. So obviously Derrick Henry was in prime position to take that face of the franchise role. So it wasn't going to be Jonnu, but Jonnu is efficient. And as long as you give him the opportunities, and he looks like he's been working hard too, and he's at a contract year right now. I don't think we drafted him first round. So this is going to be like his year to prove he belongs. And I think he's going to. But a 75 overall is way too low. He deserves at least a 78, 79. He's efficient at what he does, and he's very underrated. And 75 is too low. 75 is what you would give either a really good backup tight end or a bad starter. And he's not a bad starter, guys. He's not. Now, to people who don't watch the Titans, you don't know that. But people who watch football and all football teams know that Jonnu Smith's a pretty solid tight end. Kamale Correa, 74. I mean, could he be a bit higher? Yeah. But sub 80, I do agree with him being sub 80 at least. Vic Beasley, I do agree with him being also sub 80, but I do think he'll turn his career around with us. I think we gave him, a 1 year, $8 million deal max. It's kind of a prove-it contract. I mean, you can't go wrong there. We needed edge rushers anyway, and he's got good speed. So if he could work hard with the already innate athletic abilities he has, he could really turn it around, and I could agree with that rating. Jack Crawford, I'm guessing that was an offseason signing. I feel bad for not knowing all about every single Titan. Amani Hook, now I'm going to skip a few. I'm going to skip Cardi Blasingame, who he was pretty decent. He's a fullback, but man, is he fast for a fullback. 87 speed, 91 excel. Like, we actually used him a bit in the catching game and the running game a bit. Not much, but we used him because he was efficient. I mean, it was a team effort when we win games, and that's what's the best thing about a team. Nate Davis, a 70. I mean, come on, what more does he have to do? I'm not saying he deserves some 95 overall, but he deserves like a 74, 75, guys. You gave him a 65, which was one of the lowest ratings I've ever seen a lineman have that was in the first 4 rounds of a draft, ever. And if you thought that was bad, wait till we get to Isaiah Wilson, our first round draft pick. Now let's get into the overalls here. Anthony Ferkser being a 69. Ferkser, we know Ferkser is an underrated tight end, but 69? A 69? He is efficient. He needs a lot more than a 69. Give him Jonnu's rating and bump Jonnu up to 79. It's ridiculous. Dane Cruikshank, 69. I do agree with that because from all I've seen from Cruikshank so far, is he's a good special teamer and he's got potential to continue to grow as a player. But I haven't seen anything that warrants him as like a top, like a starter for us. So I do agree with him being either right around that 70s range. So not too bad there. Darrington Evans being a 69, I disagree with that. I think he deserves a 72, 73. I've watched some of his highlights. I've seen some of his playing style. And I think he's going to work here as Dion Lewis, his replacement, and have that 1-2 punch that we have with Henry, where we had a power back that could wear you down, and then you had a speedy guy who's going to hit you. Then you're just exhausted from having to tackle someone so massive. So I disagree with Darrington Evans. He deserves to be higher, 72, 73 overall. And instead he's a 69. And you think that's bad? Christian Fulton, 69 overall. The dude had first round draft grades all over him, and he's a 69 overall. A 69. Jalen Mother effing Hurts was taken in either the second or third round. He had a 68 overall. We have a defensive lineman that we drafted in the 5th round, and he has a 63 overall. You're saying that a positional talent, Christian Fulton, is only 6 points better than our position guy we got for defensive line in the 5th round? That's bull. That is bull. Christian Fulton could start right now and get it done. His coverage, I'm telling you, I haven't looked at his pass coverage, but I'm telling you, his pass coverage better at least be 83 for both, main and zone. His speed, what's his speed? 90, deserves to be at least a 92, 93. He doesn't need to be a human Tyreek Hill at corner, but he's efficiently fast. 90's a bit low for him, so that's wrong. Khalif Raymond being a 68. It needs to be a 71, 72, but I can understand him being a 68. A lot of people probably looked at him as just a speedy guy, but he kind of lit us up. He kind of caught the fandom by surprise because he caught some big, deep downfield passes. He's a great deep route guy because he's just so fast, it's hard for people to keep up with him. I say he's one of the top 5 fastest receivers in the league. So if he could really just continue to work on route running, continue to work hard, I think he'll be one of those under-the-radar receivers that whatever team picks him up, with good coaching, you'll always have another layer to your offense. I don't think he's ever going to be a receiver one, a wide receiver one, but never a bad pickup there. Greg Joseph being a 67, he deserves to be a 71, 72 overall. Nothing above 72 overall, but the 71, 72 overall, he's very efficient at what he does for us. So I would say that, and I have heard the rumors of us looking at Stephen Gostkowski. I would say bring him on a 1-year max $7 million, $8 million prove-it deal. I don't think kickers deserve even that much money, even with his injury. I wouldn't pay him any more than $6 million on a prove-it deal. Now, if you want his bonus higher, I'd give him 7.5 tops. Between salary and bonus, 7.5 mil, prove-it contract. If you can come in, you can play, compete with Greg Joseph for the job. And even if he still takes it, I would put Greg Joseph on the practice squad or keep him as a second kicker because we saw what happened to Gostkowski. He got injured. And Gostkowski ain't a spring chicken. He's like, 34, 35 now? So he's starting to get towards the end of his career. Now, I do know some kickers play into their mid to late 40s. But those are ones that typically haven't had injury issues. And Gostkowski, I believe it was the knee? If it's anything leg-wise, if it's ankles or knees, once they get injured on kicker, they're very vulnerable. And once they get injured once or twice or 3 times after that, you might as well just cut ties with them. They're not going to be the same because Ryan Suckup was the same way. He started to get knee injuries over the last 2 years, and he just kind of fell off of being what he was. So, I cannot believe I'm going to have to freaking say this. Isaiah Wilson is a 65 overall. Think about this real quick. For those of you who aren't Titans fans, 65 overall, a 65 overall is what was given to Nate Davis on the launch of Madden 20. And Nate Davis was a 3rd round draft pick. You're telling me Isaiah Wilson is as good as a 3rd round guard? That is bullshit. The dude pancaked people on the ground multiple times. He is not that bad, and I don't care who says he is. Again, I'm not saying the guy deserves some 95, 96, 97 number one tackle in the league. Give him a 70 to 73 rating. It's not that damn hard. He's a first round draft pick. Give him an overall grade like that, for fuck's sake. Of course, Dennis Kelly is 64. We always know he's going to slide under the radar and not really get that high of a rating. L'Oreal Murchison, that's the defensive lineman I mentioned, at a 63 overall. A 5th rounder, 63 overall. So, Isaiah Wilson is only 2 points better than him? Really? At a first round? That's bull. That is bull. I don't know what in the world you got to be smoking to have that, and I would be afraid to even try any of it, because I'd probably keel over with that type of stupidity. Chris Jackson is 61. I'm going to look at him real quick, because I know he was a late round draft pick, so I want to see if he's even got potential to be a prospect. 90 speed, 93 excel, 85 agility. Catching a 64, carry a 65. Jumping an 86, now that's interesting. Toughness an 88. Change of direction 84. .69 pursuit, which is interesting. 61 man coverage, 59 zone coverage, 60 spec catch, 49 catch in traffic. Yeah, he doesn't look that good. He looks like maybe he could if they gave him a star dev. You would have to know how to use her and hope that he gets a star or superstar dev, and then he could develop. At his age, I think he could. That's it. Now, Cole McDonald. They at least made him a prospect-style quarterback. And the reason why is they gave him 86 speed and 89 acceleration. They made him tie, I think there's 3 quarterbacks that match that speed, and that is both the highest speed in the game. They also gave him an 88 throw power. Now, his accuracies are a bit weird. I think it's 75 short, 73 mid, and 71 deep, I think. So they're basically saying his accuracies are all kind of average or slightly below average, which means you could take a year or two developing him. He's got decent accuracy, and he's got a decent arm. 88 throw power is a decent arm. And it's not like we are an offense that throws it 30, 40 yards downfield consistently. We're very run-oriented and either check down throws or 20 to 25 yard throws. So it works for us to get Cole McDonald and kind of see if we could develop him as a prospect style quarterback behind Tannehill, because Tannehill's 32 now, I believe. So Tannehill's maybe got 3 more years of prime game in him, maybe more like 2 more years of prime time, and then another 2 years of good throwing, and then maybe another year of decent throwing before he calls it quits, because he'll be 37 at that point, and he had injury issues prior. So you got to keep in mind that injury problems typically don't let players last as long. But yeah, that's my rant, guys. Madden really deserves to be. You should be embarrassed of yourselves from the quarterback lists. I mean, I could even go on to the quarterback lists. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, for fuck's sake, is an 89. You put him as the 8th quarterback, the 8th best quarterback in the game. You're telling me there are 7 other quarterbacks you'd rather have. I'm telling you right here, right now, I would rather have Aaron Rodgers over Lamar Jackson. I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers over Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson, all he can do is run very well and throw short and intermediate. Aaron Rodgers is the damn Hail Mary king. I've never seen anyone throw a 50, 60-yarder in clutch situations as well as he does. Now you can say, oh, but Patrick Mahomes can throw it 75 yards in practice like it's a 5-yarder. Yeah, he could. But I need to see that more consistently through a career. We've seen Aaron Rodgers do it multiple times throughout the years, whereas we've only seen Mahomes do it for, 2 years? Because he sat 1 year on the bench and he's played 2 years. So if Mahomes can do it for another 3-4 years on top of that, which I have strong faith he will, then I will start praising Mahomes like that as well. Is Mahomes one of the best arms I've ever seen? Yes. Possibly the greatest? Yeah. Possibly the greatest arm ever. Like the strongest arm. But Aaron Rodgers deserves more respect. Derrick Henry deserves more respect. Isaiah Wilson, you screwed him over. But the ones who got the most disrespect were Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans. Makes me appalled and disgusted at EA. And not only that, now you're not going to fix Madden franchise. Hashtag fix Madden franchise. Hashtag fix Madden. Hashtag fix the ratings, please. That's enough of my rant. Hopefully I can get back to recording more of the content that you guys want to see. But I had to get that said because as a Titans fan, I can't ignore it. So, I'll see you around in the next one, guys. We're more on topic. Adios.